Oh my gosh, nap time is over.
Amber,
Fun time begins.
Amber, we're gonna have oh yes.
Oh,
No,
my
no.
goodness.
I can just, I'm going to mute myself and be a presence and, or do you just want me to not do it today?
No, you definitely 100% do it because I'm gonna use that.
He's a
100%.
star. Look at that sweet thing.
Yeah. Oh, bless
What's his
it.
name?
His name is Ben. Elizabeth, you want to come here and see my work?
Hi, Elizabeth.
Oh, she's playing.
She being shy. Okay.
Elizabeth, come here. Okay, yeah, never mind. It's fine.
Well, hey,
Are you sure? I can just go
yes.
out.
No. You're
No.
in. You're in, and we've already started recording, so we're gonna. Yeah, no, we'll go from the beginning, and I'll make it quick too, so that. Welcome to another episode of the Mid-Level Show. We had a little bit of technical difficulties to start off the show, so apologies for those who have been waiting anxiously for the 4 mid-levels of performance medicine to talk about Cialis, the wonder drug. And I just really, if you notice on our top left-hand corner, Amber, our nurse practitioner at the Kingsport office, has a special guest with us. Amber, this is a future PA or NP of performance medicine, I see.
Yes. He's going to learn about tadalafil today.
We're going to have some notes from production too to earmuff some of the stuff I may talk about erectile dysfunction.
Yeah.
So we'll have an earmuffs portion of it too. I'm so glad. The more the merrier. Hey, listen, Ben, you can't start soon enough. Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So done. Learning is key. So every week we go over Dr. Rogers' doctor's note, and this week he has chosen what he has called the wonder drug, Cialis, or the generic version of it called tadalafil. I personally do love this drug. I think it's an amazing drug because it has many different properties. And the one thing that spoke out to me within that doctor's note was a cardiologist saying they use it for heart health. That's something that's new to me, but actually makes sense to me. I wanted to get y'all's first takes and first opinions. Fran, representing our Johnson City office, what is your first opinion on tadalafil and kind of some of its off-label uses?
Well, when I read through the doctor's note, I had no idea you could use it for altitude sickness.
Yeah.
So I thought, hey, I'd love to give that a try. Kind of makes sense as it increases the blood flow and the oxygenation. So it could be a really great drug for a lot of things.
Right. That's and I'm not surprised too. I don't know if you guys have ever seen the movie Love and Other Drugs. Jake Gyllenhaal, Anne Hathaway. It kind of talks about he's a sales rep for Viagra before it turned into the erectile dysfunction market and just how it boomed. And they kind of had doctors waiting at hand and feet for them to sign up for samples because Viagra was so. But Viagra, for those of you listening or watching, Viagra is sildenafil, which is another version of the same class of drugs that treats primarily erectile dysfunction. But altitude sickness was new to me too. I didn't know that. I did know that it treated pulmonary hypertension. I rotated in the ICU and did see that a couple times to where they used it and it worked and it relieves pressure. Kara, representing our Knoxville office, what were your first thoughts? Have you seen anything that's come through the emergency room used for Cialis, or primarily what we've done with performance medicine?
The only thing was caution when using these drugs and nitroglycerin. I have seen not very good outcomes with that in the emergency room and the ICU. So that's very important when patients are taking this, if they do have.
Sorry, we're a little bit frozen our end. Kara, are you still there?
Nitroglycerin on hand to use for chest pain. There
Perfect.
He is.
There we are. There we are. Sorry, I might have froze. We're having a technical difficulty type of day. I think all of us need to take a little bit of Cialis right now to see if it relieves some of this technical pressure, okay? No, you're right. So nitroglycerin for chest pain, to relieve that chest pain, taking Cialis or Viagra in conjunction with it can lower blood pressure too much. And really, that's the important thing I want people to take away from this is how it works. I feel like PM does a really good job of explaining drugs and why we want you to take them. And Fran always brings up a good point of not taking drugs when you don't need them, and minimal effective dose for these drugs as well when we do take them. Cialis, tadalafil, is a PDE5 inhibitor. So what this does, it blocks a certain enzyme, PDE5, and it releases more cyclic GMP and nitrous oxide, which is why it's not good with nitroglycerin, because you have too much. But what that does is it allows the arteries to relax. And if you think about that for heart health, you want your arteries to relax. If you think about that for blood pressure, you want things, the pipes to relax. For erectile dysfunction, the erection, and actually too, Amber, if you could do an earmuffs too, we're about to get into a little bit of PG-13 talk here. I'm just kidding. With the erections, it has a parasympathetic mode, a relaxation mode, in order for the penis to fill with blood, and then a sympathetic mode at the end of the erectile state. That's where most men get in trouble, is they're not able to fill during the relaxation mode. That is how Cialis works. What's amazing too is that it also inherently helps out with the prostate. And we find that often most men die with prostate problems, not from prostate problems. But inevitably, as we get older, they grow with us. And Amber, I didn't know if you wanted to make a comment about that too, because I use it quite frequently to say, hey, see if this helps out with erections, and also too, see if it relieves. You'll know that you have prostate issues if you're waking up in the middle of the night to pee 10 times a night, if it feels like you're peeing against an obstruction. Have you seen success with using Cialis for prostate?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say, is actually my biggest thing to use it for is not even, some guys in, their 50s or late 40s, 50s, 60s, beyond, and maybe their primary issue is not anything sexual, but it's like, I get up and pee 10 times a night, or when I have to pee, I have to go. And there's like that urgency. And so a low dose Cialis or tadalafil, 5 milligrams a day, I have seen tremendous improvements with just, like you said, dilating around and helping that prostate function better, more beneficial, and just helping with those symptoms.
Oh, for sure. And too, it causes actually a little bit of muscle cell relaxation within the prostate and also within the bladder too. So most people notice that there's an alleviation of symptoms with prostate relief. So that's really great. I'm starting to see now where it is kind of the wonder drug. And I'm wondering this, and anybody can chime in for this question, because I always think minimal effective dose. Whenever we start patients off on tadalafil, we like to use a combination or compound drug. Compounded drugs have to be made at compounding pharmacies because they make the drug there. We usually use 5 milligrams of tadalafil with oxytocin. Have you all seen success of using that combination with men? Mm-hmm. Everybody is stunned in the room. Ben has too.
It comes in the 20 milligram troche, and then it's scored. So you just fourth sublingual under the tongue, and daily. So you have a fourth daily. That's really to help, like as he was referring to, like vascular issues.
Yes.
Maintenance. But you can take the whole troche, as he was saying here, 1 to 2 hours before intercourse. So
right, kind of like an as needed prior to intercourse, higher milligram versus a lower dose chronically used every day. So it's just kind of amazing how this drug works. I feel like they're going to find even more things that'll help out in the future. I guess
we also use it at 2.5 milligrams daily for Raynaud's.
Yeah, Raynaud's disease. Tell us a little bit more about Raynaud's. I actually have one patient with Raynaud's too. I've heard of calcium channel blockers working well for Raynaud's, but also tadalafil.
Mm-hmm. I had a patient tell me the other day, most of the time you think your Raynaud's is worse in the winter because it's cold, but that hers is worse in the summer because indoors in the air conditioning.
Yeah.
Fingers get so cold, and I mean, they turn just, they get discolored and they turn just white, almost gray, just from not getting enough blood flow. So she said actually hers is worse in the summer because the air conditioning. So everybody's different.
Everybody's different. And again, going even lower on the dose of 2.5 milligrams for Raynaud's works perfectly too. There's a lot of different things we can use for this. I want to know what y'all think about the oxytocin combination in the compounded drug. Fran, do you have any thoughts?
I think it can only help.
Yeah, yeah.
There's a lot of benefits to oxytocin if it's one more way to raise it. You know, your oxytocin, if you don't have erectile dysfunction and you're having more sex is going to raise your oxytocin.
Yep.
Cuddling, kissing, you know, there's lots of ways. Doing things you love. If you like animals, petting animals increases oxytocin. So anything, relationships, I even read somewhere social media, which is interesting in this time where we can't touch each other, right? Because we're all kind of isolated. Companionship. So the quality of your relationships is so important, and for your overall health. So it's not, to me, it's not just about Cialis fixing erectile dysfunction. It's you add the oxytocin, you fix your relationships, everything gets better. Fix one thing and snowball into everything improving. And if you're not getting up to go to the bathroom all night long, you're going to sleep better, you're going to feel better, and you're going to perform better, be able to think better. I can't find a huge downside other than what Kara talked about, where if you're on nitroglycerin, this is a problem.
Right.
You just have to, you know,
with blood pressure,
don't want to take something that's going to harm you. Yes.
That's such a great, and also too, it just reminds me just how interconnected the mind, body, and spirit are. It's like just being able to have physical human touch and have relationships can release a bonding hormone like oxytocin. I mean, look, Amber, you are full of oxytocin right now. Babies around. I mean, listen, you are ruling. If you don't know where to find oxytocin, you can go over to Amber and
my goodness gracious.
Yes, you can open your own compounding pharmacy right there.
I don't know, but you know, speaking of women, and that was something new to me. I was talking to Kara about the use of tadalafil in women. I mean, we use oxytocin. That's the feel good hormone, as Fran was saying, but that in combination with the tadalafil, I personally haven't done that yet, but I thought, wow, that makes sense. So that's good to know we have that use as well.
And I think too, important for our listeners and viewers is that Cialis is not just erectile dysfunction. Neither really true is Viagra. He talks about Viagra versus Levitra being a little bit more specific to erectile dysfunction. Right. I always tell patients, I'm like, Cialis kind of chronic, Viagra, right? It's going to be a little bit stronger, bigger hitter, and then Levitra is going to be the biggest hit right before. So I always say start with Cialis, but note that it's not just for erectile dysfunction. It can help out so many other things. One last thing, unless we have anything else we wanted to add from y'all's end, I went to a functional medicine conference probably 6-8 months ago, and they talked obviously a lot about sexual health, and they talk about your nitrous oxide levels, your natural nitrous oxide levels, which Cialis helps boost, yes, but they also talk about specific foods you can eat to help improve nitrous oxide levels. So diet can actually play a lot into a role. I Googled foods to boost nitrous oxide levels. So I'm literally just getting this off the internet. They had a better list, but certain things were like beets, spinach, garlic, meats, dark chocolate. If you think about like aphrodisiac food, dark chocolate can actually help promote those. Leafy greens, citrus fruits, although not to eat this with take Cialis with grapefruit. Grapefruit's the one thing from PA school I remember where it can actually inhibit the reaction of drugs. I believe it's dealing with CY. Oh my God, it's. Does anybody know what it deals with?
CYP 450. I'm pretty sure.
Yes, for the win. Was that you or was that Ben that thought of that?
Ben told me.
Oh God, so smart.
He just turned 1, so he's
So he obviously knows that.
Yeah.
Yes, grapefruit is definitely one. This goes on to say nuts and seeds, pomegranates, actually watermelon and red wine. So another reason, aside from
To drink.
resveratrol, to drink, it's only a performance medicine sending a PSA out there that's wine is going to help you out. Please go drink some red wine. But I guess another thought too is that in this conference they told me certain toothpastes can actually decrease your natural nitrous oxide level, which I found pretty interesting. Toothpaste and mouthwashes can actually deplete it orally and then systemically. So,
but it
Which
could
ones?
ruin your sex life.
I know.
Yeah, which ones?
I forget off the top of my head.
Goodness.
I'm sure it was the one I was using. I'm sure it was Colgate. But then again, I don't want Colgate and Crest to come after us for some reason.
Yeah, let's just
they
remain
just said-
nameless.
We'll remain nameless, but just double check that and maybe get that a nice Google search and replace. I haven't heard any case studies. Kara, this would be a great case study if we just take out someone's Colgate and see if actually erections become better. So
Okay. That'll be my next project.
yeah, we'll just run that by Dr. Rogers. We'll run that by Dad. Hey, listen, I need a couple months to run this research study, okay? Give me 15 of your best guys, give me some Colgate, and then give me some off-label. But I'll just go around our gallery right now. Any closing thoughts, Amber?
Um,
I think we've covered everything, but if you got
yes.
anything else.
No, I'm just thankful he's good. We're good.
You nailed it. And I will tell you that performance is all about work-life balance. And I think it is so cool that you are balancing so much. And you're literally balancing a baby right now on our live feeds. This is amazing. Kara, any closing thoughts?
Well, I think it's amazing that one drug can have so many different uses at different doses, and just being able to apply them to different patients, male and female, according to what they're having problems with.
Yes. I like it. Fran, any closing thoughts?
I'm just curious. I might want to get some for myself. Try it out.
I think that's a
And I'll
perfect
get back
closer.
to you and let you
Okay.
know.
Let's just give it a shot, right? Let's all try some. Next time, whenever we do this, if we have a specific drug we're going to talk about, we're actually just all going to do it at the same time, right here. We're just going to have a life. I'm kidding for those who do not know me. I joke around a lot. So that's great. Thank you all so much for joining us for the Mid-Level Show. Every week we discuss the doctor's notes. Come see us at Performance Medicine. Get your fill of Tadalafil.
Nice.
I literally just made that up. So, okay. I'm just
Perfect.
working on my material. Thank you all so much. We'll see you next week. But hey, Ben, if you'll close us out. Perfect. I couldn't have said it better myself. Bye, y'all. See you next week.
Bye.